troops. The article says General Caldwell wanted to use the unit's psychological expertise to convince members of Congress to send more troops to Afghanistan. General Caldwell's chief of staff is quoted as asking, "How do we get these guys to give us more people? What do I have to plant inside their heads?" The list of psychological targets included Senators John McCain, Senator Joe Lieberman, Jack Reed, Senator Carl Levin, and Al Franken. Federal law prohibits the military from practicing psyops on Americans. Quote, Everyone in the PSYOPs community knows you're not supposed to target Americans, says one veteran of the PSYOPs team. It's what you learn on day one. Joining me now in his first television interview since his article became public, Michael Hastings of Rolling Stone. Thanks for joining us tonight, Michael.
Thanks for having me, Lawrence. It's an honor to be here.
Michael, they didn't limit their targets to members of Congress, according to your reporting. They actually targeted psychological operations on Admiral Mike Mullen of the Joint Chiefs of Staff. How's that news being received in the Pentagon today?
I get a sense they're talking about it in the Pentagon, but this was an information operations cell that specialized in psychological operations as well as military deception. And they originally were on a mission to, what they were there to do was to actually train and influence Afghans and the Taliban. That's what they were supposed to do. But when they got there, General Caldwell and his staff said, hey, no, we want you to start, we want you to actually work on influencing senators and other military officials visiting to help sort of grease the skids and get what they want. And then what happened was the leader of this information operations cell said, hey, that sounds illegal to me, and that was later confirmed with a legal opinion he received from a JAG lawyer. So the question is, why were they using this vital resource, the $6 million a year information operations cell, to try to spin senators?
And what techniques do they use in this operation?
Well, I think what's most interesting is that, this unit resisted. So it's not much of how nefarious or benign it was. It was the fact that this resource was being used. What Colonel Holmes, who's the leader of the PSYOP teams, ended up doing was putting together detailed background profiles of the visitors in order to get inside their decision loops. That was another quote that he was told, and to find their pressure points. But like I said, he tried to resist doing this because he felt it was illegal and both illegal and ethically dubious.
Now, your primary source for the article seems to be Lieutenant Colonel Michael Holmes, who was in charge of this operation. Why did he tell you this story?
Well, the story is primarily from Lieutenant Colonel Michael Holmes and Major Laura Levine, so two serving officers in the Army National Guard. I believe he finally went public with this was because right from the beginning when he was first ordered to do this, he had said it's a bad idea, it's a bad idea, it's a bad idea. In March of 2010, he received a written order. And then after the written order, he then reported it to the lawyers. And again, he was ignored. And then there was a retaliatory investigation against him. He then blew the whistle again and told the Pentagon, hey, I just got retaliated against because I blew the whistle. And then the Pentagon ignored it. So I think he felt that he was forced to go public with this because he just thought what was going on wasn't right.
I want to read you what Senator Franken said today in response to this article and the specific trip that you point out in the article that Senator Franken was on in Afghanistan. He said this in his statement, although this was my first trip to Afghanistan as a senator, it was my fifth trip to the country since the war started, and I've learned that to get a clear sense of what's happening on the ground, you have to talk to everyone from privates to generals. My perspective on the effort in Afghanistan is the product of countless face-to-face meetings with soldiers and Marines, Pentagon officials, State Department officials, outside experts, and my constituents in Minnesota, as well as extensive review of reports and classified material. What Senator Franken seems to be saying, along with the other senators who were involved on this trip, is that whatever they were trying to do to influence them didn't work because they used such a large scope in terms of collecting the information they want in making their decisions.
Sure, and I think these trips are critical for senators to go on, which is why once you start blurring the lines between public affairs and information operations, it becomes such a dilemma. We don't know what the exact impact of the influencing operations were. What we do know is that one of the things this team was tasked was after the meetings to go look at the media reports afterwards and do other analysis to see what kind of impact that this sort of influence operation had. But yeah, I think that one of the more interesting developments is just this month there's been a push for $2 billion more for General Caldwell's Afghan training mission. So whether or not it had an effect or not, it seems like General Caldwell has gotten more resources.
Michael Hastings of Rolling Stone, thank you for joining us tonight.
Thanks for having me, sir. Appreciate it.